What's up, meatbags? It's the often imitated, never duplicated Tony TGT, bringing you a special Christmas episode of Gabbing with Geeks, pre-recorded for your viewing pleasure. Joining me tonight is Bob, Finbar, Days Gaming, and of course Ninja Kitty. What's up, fellas?
Merry Christmas.
Howdy.
What's
Uh,
up? Merry Christmas.
are we really excited for Christmas? Are we excited for the holidays, whatever it is that people are celebrating?
Yes,
Sure.
absolutely.
We
Sure.
sound so excited.
I love Christmas.
Speaking of loving Christmas, I think we should start off with what is our favorite Christmas memory? Like, what is the top memory of Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate? Because I know Ninja Kitty, I think he's like Jewish or something. Maybe Hanukkah down there.
I'm up north, which is up there, and nay.
Nay, oh, I could have swore.
My last name's not Mullis.
Anyway, Bob, let's start off with you. What's your favorite holiday memory?
There can only be one. My parents were divorced, obviously, when I was young, and I was
Why
feeling-
obviously, Bob? First off, you say that like we should know. You're like, obviously, my parents are
Oh, I
divorced.
forget what people knows, public knowledge and whatever, you know. But well, moving on. My parents were divorced, and then one Christmas, my dad took us out like shopping for a video game console, and we was looking at like all different stuff, and we picked out a Nintendo, and we got a Nintendo Entertainment System with Super Mario Bros. And I was really sick. I was really hyped for that. And then we come home from visiting my dad, me and my brother, and my mum had also got us a Christmas present. So on Christmas Day, we're unwrapping our presents, and my mum had got us the Nintendo Entertainment System with Duck Hunt, two controllers, and the gun. And it was really hype, and it was really funny because my mum was a bit annoyed that my dad also got us a Nintendo, but I was at his house. But it was sick because we had one at my dad's house and one at my mum's house, and my mum was at least happy that she got the better one for us. So that was really cool. We ended up with two Nintendos for Christmas.
Nice, nice.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I
You know,
also got
gutted
that
you,
Duck Hunt one.
you know, gutted you didn't get like a Sega Master System as a secondary one instead of two Nintendos.
Nah, Master System is trash, man.
I agree.
Absolutely trash. What about you, Finbar? What is your favorite holiday memory?
Well, I think similar to Bob, my parents were also divorced. I think at the time. Well, I know they were, but that's not the favourite memory. I think it might have been '87, possibly '88. I got a Commodore 64 for Christmas, and I remember we had it for a day. I barely got to touch it because my stepdad at the time was playing with it all day and ended up spilling beer all over the keyboard, and wrecking it. So I never really got a chance to have a go at it. So we took it back to the place they got it from, and we ended up having to exchange it. But there was no more Commodore 64s in stock, so I ended up getting a shitty Amstrad. I don't know if anybody's ever seen one of these before. Bob probably knows. And I had to sit at home playing on a fucking green screen Amstrad instead of my awesome Commodore 64. So, but it was still cool.
Finbar, this is favorite holiday memory.
But if that's the best memory I've got, Days, what do you think the rest of the Christmases have been like?
Oh wow, I'm so very sorry.
Oh my!
that sounds brutal, man.
Why do you think I'm so miserable? No, it was good. I actually love my Amstrad. I learned to code on it and everything, so I did. I really
Oh,
loved it.
nice, nice.
Sounds awesome. What about you, Dazed? Can you top Finbar's awesome memory of stepdad spilling beer all over his Commodore 64?
Now, my memory is a pleasant one, and it's possibly a bit of a double dip into last year's favorite gift because it is tied to my favorite memory, and it was when I was 5 years old receiving my Atari 2600, which is actually it was the Sears version, but still to me it was an Atari, and it was completely unexpected. And being 5 years old, I really didn't have a clue really about what video games were. I knew that I remember playing at an arcade a few times. Like there was an arcade near us at a mall, and but it was completely not on my radar. Like as you get older, you kind of know what you're going to get but it blew my mind. And just playing that. It came with Asteroids, and I think they got me. I remember pretty sure it had Pac-Man and Raiders of the Lost Ark came with it too. And I just remember my dad and I playing it, and it's a great memory, and it always gives me a warm feeling when I think of it.
Nice. What about you, Ninja Kitty? What's your favorite holiday memory?
My favorite holiday memory was when my parents got divorced, because that's obvious also. No, they didn't get divorced. It was when I was a bit older, and I was with my girlfriend, and her Christmas gift for me was a PlayStation 2, which I've been wanting for the longest time, and her family also gave a surround sound system, like one of those ones in the box. So got a
Nice.
PlayStation 2 surround sound system in a box. I think Final Fantasy X. And I remember the first movie we watched was Shaft with what's his name, Samuel Jackson. And I just remember my first time ever watching. I think that might have been my first time watching DVD with surround sound, and just how awesome it was compared to, because we used to watch VHSs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, playing the PlayStation 2, I remember playing throughout the night. It's like 12 hours continuously. I'm like, nothing will top this. Even though nowadays everything is a lot better, but it was like the first Christmas that I actually got a really awesome gift, because my parents were not divorced, but they preferred giving me gifts that were not video games and like more of the generic stuff like clothes and stuff. So that was definitely my favorite Christmas memory. And I went on to break up with her and marry someone else. So it's good times.
Thanks for the PlayStation 2.
Laters.
So did you wait till after Christmas to break up with her, or was it just like
A
a
couple years later.
Oh, that's good. That's fair.
My favorite Christmas memory is probably, you guys are going to think it's a cheat, but I'm going to go with it anyway because, as you know, I have a son, Sidekick Max. I love him. And when he was about 6 years old, he's, still believed in Santa, but, started having doubts. People are talking. He's seeing movies. So on Christmas, I bought a Santa hat, and I left it at the door. And Christmas morning, Sidekick Max gets up, sees all the presents, but he sees the Santa hat. He comes running in the room. He goes, Dad, Santa Claus was here. I said, oh, yeah, you saw the present? He goes, no, Santa left his hat. I said, what? He said, oh, yeah, Santa left his hat. Here it is. Look, I got Santa's hat. And he held on to that hat for a whole year. So he could leave it out with the cookies and milk the next year so Santa would have his hat back. I think that's my favorite Christmas memory. Then eventually I got divorced, and so Max is going to be telling the story about how his parents were divorced, obviously, and he had shitty Christmases.
Oh, that's such a sweet story. Oh.
I know. I like how all our stories were about stuff we got, and Tony's was about him giving something.
Well,
Yeah.
I was going last, so I thought for sure the other parents in the group were going to be like, oh, yeah, my best Christmas was with the kid, blah, blah, blah. But
Nope.
I guess I'm the only one.
The good thing is we all had stories about divorce.
Yes.
Except for Ninja Kitty, who had a normal childhood and is still married. Odd man out. But
Hey, I had a normal childhood, and I'm still married.
last year we had some friends of the channel last year told us about their favorite Christmas gifts. So I think it'd be wise if we go ahead and take a listen to what they had to say their favorite Christmas gift / memory was right now.
Thank you for the invitation, Tony. Well, let me talk about my favorite, and I mean my favorite Christmas gift of all time. And that was the Atari 2600, because it actually changed the course of my life. It really, really did. It turned me into a bona fide nerd. Instead of running around the streets of East LA, I was stuck at home playing Pitfall and other great games, Combat, so many things. And it really, really made me look at technology in a very different way. Before that, everything to me was just math and I didn't like it. But when the Atari came along, I saw Technology is entertainment. And because of that, I, grew to love science. I grew to love college and learning and just being driven to learn more about those things, whether it came, especially when it came to computers. And because of that, my life took a very, very different turn. Thanks to my aunt. God bless her soul, man. She bought me something that she probably couldn't afford at the time, and she made that sacrifice, but I am so grateful because it only didn't change my life, it changed my family's life, because computers and video games became a great part of my kids' childhood, and it really entertained us, in the tough times and in the good times. But man, I'm telling you, if I could go back in time and just wake up one more time and open that box one more time, man, I thank my aunt for that gift over and over again. But I don't think I could. There's some things you can't ever thank somebody for. And that one gift changed my life, so I try to pay it forward. These holidays, guys, there's a lot of people out there that need help. Maybe you're having a great time, but maybe you can make a difference, like somebody made a difference with me. That's why I give to charities. And if you guys can, hey, go ahead and help somebody else. Maybe you will give somebody the best Christmas gift they ever had. All right, humans, thank you. And I really, really want to wish everybody a Happy New Year, a Merry Christmas, and celebrate all your holidays safely, hopefully with a game. Take care.
If you lived through the 80s and played video games, there was something wholly unique about that era that has largely been lost for decades. One where evolution could be witnessed in real time, and the contrast between games that cost $0.25 per round versus those for the home that could be purchased and played for a flat rate seemed miles apart. Yet that very experience drove us to dream about what could be possible moving forward. I can still recall the first game I ever played, a custom 2-player cocktail cabinet of Miss Pac-Man, and nothing else really came close back then. To this day, it remains one of my all-time favorites. I spent a fair amount of time playing classics such as Pole Position, Tempest, Galaga, Night Driver, and a ton of pinball. These were my introduction to video games. So, when I was later introduced to the Atari 2600 and Apple II, I had fun, but I wasn't impressed. The arcade experience was just better. And it wasn't even close. Through most of the 80s, I wasn't as interested in home gaming systems and spent most of my time in the arcade, something I was able to do about once a week. I was so out of the loop as far as home consoles go. I knew my brother was saving up for an NES, but knew nothing about it until he finally made the purchase in 1988. He had Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, Double Dragon, Super Mario Bros., and a few others. I was completely blown away. Growing up, I didn't get along with my brother, and that meant playing on his NES was an uncommon affair, but watching him play on the only TV in the house was not. These games were not the single-screen, forgettable affairs so common on early home systems. These were full-blown arcade-like experiences, some of which were able to offer gameplay and mechanics not possible outside of the home. While my brother wasn't willing to share his games, he would let me use the system if I rented one. And eventually, I ended up purchasing my first home console game for a system that wasn't mine. That game, the original Mega Man. I later acquired Contra, and that would be one of the first games to really bring us together while having fun in a cooperative spirit. So for Christmas of 1989, there was only one thing my sister and I wanted, an NES that didn't belong to my brother, and my parents delivered. On December 25th of 1989, I became 50% owner of this very NES Action Pack with a freshly updated orange zapper. It's a system my sister and I would bond over, and that relationship would move to other consoles such as the Super Nintendo, where we spent a ridiculous amount of time playing NBA Jam. The NES was a gateway, and though the gaming experience I was truly after wouldn't be delivered until the Genesis, the NES was the way in. For nearly 30 years, my sister and I passed this system back and forth. But she started losing interest in games around the N64, and by the time the Wii left the market, so had she. About 5 years ago, she gifted me full ownership of the system, along with her remaining games and consoles. Our childhood NES is one of my most prized possessions, and one of the few items I would be unwilling to part with, regardless of the circumstances. Christmas wasn't what made having the NES special, it's the memories associated with it, and the way it changed how I viewed gaming at home. I always worked odd jobs to save money and purchase things I wanted, and would have eventually saved up for the NES and purchased it myself. But by receiving it as a joint gift, I built a bond with my sister where we gamed together on a weekly basis until she met her future husband. Those are memories I'll always cherish, and ones I'm unsure we would have had it not been for our NES.
My favorite childhood Christmas gift was probably an NES. Like earlier that year, I played it for the first time over one of my friend's house. He had Ninja Gaiden and Super Mario Brothers, so as soon as I played that, I was hooked. He went away at some point that year, and I got to borrow it for a while, and then I was just playing Ninja Gaiden and Mario all the time. So that was like the one thing I wanted that year. I wound up getting it with Super Mario Duck Hunt and I believe Donkey Kong Classics. Actually like a decent port of those games. I also think I had like that year that stick, the Advantage, which that was like not a good fucking peripheral. I know a lot of people like still love that peripheral. The Advantage was basically like the NES controller, but in like a arcade stick form. It was cool, but like it was not the most practical thing for the overwhelming majority of NES games. I don't know if you ever tried playing Super Mario Brothers with a joystick. No. But otherwise, NES is fucking awesome.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Show. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been tricked by your parents on Christmas Day? This happened to me on the Christmas of 1992, at the crazy young age of 7. Now, I was already living it up with my NES console prior to this moment in time. However, sure as 1992 rolled on, so did the growing hype for the new hotness on the street. Any kid that was in the States knew that hotness as the Super Nintendo. Of course, I had to ask my old man if I could have this brand new magical device. How could you not? And truth be told, I got shut down every single time I asked. Sorry, son, it's too expensive. When he said this, we were at our local Toys R Us as people were just getting ready for Christmas. Shoot on over a couple months to Christmas Day, and we had our morning. Opening up the first few packages, I received some clothes, and a couple of Hot Wheel toys and Transformers, then more clothes. I thanked my mom and tried my best to show appreciation for what I was given. However, just before I got started playing with my toys, I could hear my old man upstairs. Son, there was something else Santa forgot to put under the tree. I'm over here thinking like, oh, for real? He walks down the stairs with multiple boxes in his hands, then drops them in front of me, asking me to open up the largest one first. I turned to that box and I ripped that thing open. And what was under all that wrapping but a heckin' Super Nintendo? I just remember toppling over the smaller boxes and jumping into my old man's arms. I jumped down, then tore through the next couple of boxes. And you couldn't believe what I got from this. Super Mario World, Pilot Wings, Super Mario Kart, Ys 3, freaking Turtles in Time. All of this in one shot. Why? When? It was a dream come true. It definitely sits in my mind as the best Christmas ever. And that, my friends, is my favorite Christmas story. With that said, I'm kicking it back to Tony.
All right, gentlemen, that was some great footage from last year, friends of the channel. We always appreciate when people want to contribute to these Christmas episodes. But now, I want to know, what is your favorite holiday movie? Now for me, it used to be one thing, but this year I actually threw a wrench into it. If we did this like a month ago, I would have a totally different answer, but I think you're going to be surprised with what I say. But Bob, as always, let's start with you first. Bob, what is your favorite holiday movie? Doesn't have to be a Christmas movie. And yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and so is Batman Returns.
Well, if I'd known that, I would have thought about it better before picking the movie I chose. But the only one I could pick or think of really is Scrooge with Bill Murray. I think that's an absolute classic. I love Bill Murray. I think he's absolutely hilarious. And the Scrooge movie he did, like, kind of traumatized me as a kid, especially the end scene with death and him being burnt alive in a coffin. That was really traumatic. But I really like that movie. It's really good and fun.
It is a really good movie.
That whole story is kind of scary. Like, that's definitely like just a scary Christmas story. Like, with the ghosts coming back and you seeing your life, like how terrible it's been, or like, or where you're headed. Like, it's just it is a bit traumatic. But I love that movie too. Bill Murray is awesome.
Now, Finbar in Dazed recorded some video, which we will watch in a minute. But first, let's get Ninja Kitty's answer. Ninja Kitty, what's your favorite holiday movie?
Well, it's not going to be the Die Hard, which I think Lethal Weapon's a better Christmas movie than Die Hard, but it has to be the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And just because as a kid, I found the specific moments where the funny slapstick comedy or the physical comedy made me laugh. But as an adult, I appreciated it even more just because I can relate to Chevy Chase and just the the overall stress of having and everyone over and making everyone else happy, and just I could relate to him. So it made the movie even better for myself. And that's one that every year I have to watch, sometimes multiple times. It's aged very well.
Oh, Christmas Vacation is a definite high on the list. I love it. I think I relate more to Randy.
Yeah, yeah.
Randy
Cousin
Quaid.
Eddie.
Yeah,
Cousin Eddie.
Cousin Eddie, yeah, Randy Quaid. I'm not sophisticated like you, Ninja Kitty. I don't have the nice big house, lovely family. I'm more of a Cousin Eddie. Shitter's full, just out there on the street. Now, for myself, it used to be It's a Wonderful Life. A Wonderful Life was my favorite Christmas movie. I know it's an older movie, but it still always had a special place in my heart because it did touch me. The idea that everybody appreciates this one man for what he does for everybody and all of his contributions, even though he thinks that they kind of go unnoticed. It's like, no, you're so important. You don't even realize how important you are to the community. I think I appreciate that. I think because, I always go underappreciated myself. Nobody here says thank you to me at all, ever.
Never.
So I relate to that. But this year, oh my God, a new contender for the throne came out. Have you guys seen A Christmas Story Christmas?
No.
This movie is so good. It is a sequel, a direct sequel to A Christmas Story. We reviewed it on the channel. I couldn't stop saying good things about it. And I think one of the reasons why I think this is the new favorite movie is because I watched it with my father and my son. So all three generations got to watch this movie for the first time ever. And now it's going to be like a new tradition around the holidays, right? We're going to watch this movie every year. Then we'll watch the original Christmas Story. And it'll be something that, Max will be able to carry on for the rest of his life. Just the way, like, when our generation watched A Christmas Story and we watch that every year, I think this is going to be the new Christmas Story for his generation. And they'll be able to watch this and carry it on. And so I'm just glad that I was there for the first viewing. And hopefully I'll be there for subsequent viewings every year going forward. Like I said, I don't want to ruin the movie, but it is a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen A Christmas Story Christmas, highly recommend it. Like I said, it is now my all-time favorite Christmas movie. And if you watch it, you'll know why. Because it is just that good. With that said, we're going to once again throw it to some friends of the channel who have decided to send in some videos telling us their favorite Christmas movies. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
Hello everyone, it's
Beefy
and
Jr Beefy.
and we're here to talk a little bit about what our favorite Christmas movies are.
You make Christmas?
What's your favorite?
He made Christmas?
You like this one? Is this the one you like?
I got one.
You like this one?
He made Christmas.
Why do you like the He-Man Christmas so much? Who's in it?
And the hat on.
Yeah, they have the hats on. Who's in it? Is He-Man in it? Is She-Ra in it? I know this is Tila, but we're going to substitute because I don't have my She-Ra yet. Who else is in the He-Man Christmas show? Skeletor. And what does Skeletor do? Does he help a little boy and little girl? Does he help a little boy and little girl? And does he have feelings at the end? What else is in the He-Man Christmas?
The robots.
Robots. And who takes care of them? And the evil horde. The Hordak. Well, I don't think there's a dinosaur in He-Man Christmas. No, I don't think there's a Spinosaurus in He-Man Christmas. Do you? Oh, no. But he got rid of the horde. No, so Jr Beefy's one of his favorite videos right now is the He-Man Christmas special with She-Ra and He-Man. I mean, if you've watched any of the old classic stuff, it's pretty campy, but in a good way, in my opinion, for the most part. Yeah, it's that dinosaur in the Castle Grayskull. It's always fun and stuff, and we had fun watching it today, which actually led to us watching more He-Man cartoons that were not Christmas related. How do you get in there? I don't know how you got in there. If you're asking my opinion, one of my favorite ones is the Muppets Christmas Carol, and I like it because I think it's a pretty good interpretation. It has fun music, but it's also fairly touching and kind of sad. I definitely like the Ghosts of Christmas Present. Oh, it's Orko! Is Orko going to get the dinosaur? But anyways, the Muppets. I like Ghosts of Christmas Present and all the music in it. What other Christmas videos do you like? Which other ones do you like, Jr Beefy?
Mickey Christmas?
We also like Mickey Christmas in this household, too. And while I really like it, personally, I don't think it's quite as good as Muppets Christmas, but it's really good and fun. And it's nice and short. It's a good short one. So, if you're trying to fit in multiple things, this is a good one to fit in between. So, is there anything you want to tell people? Do you want to tell them Merry Christmas? Do you want to tell the people Merry Christmas? Or are you too busy opening Castle Grayskull? Well, I think... Is it time to go? It is? Well, how about we tell them Merry Christmas? Can we tell them Merry Christmas? Or are you too busy? Can you tell them Merry Christmas, Dino?
That's my source.
Hey, what's the name of our show? We didn't say that. We just said hello. It's Mr. Beefy and Jr Beefy. The name of our show is Beefy Bites. Can you say Beefy Bites?
Beefy Bites.
Beefy Bites. Yeah, we do a lot of toy opening and cards. And sometimes Daddy plays games. Uh-oh, is he gone? We might have to do more playing toy videos.
Okay, in there.
How do you get it? Let me open it up. Oh, it's a Spinosaurus! But anyways, our show is Beefy Bites. Should have said that at the beginning. Oh well, we're amateurs. We just kind of do it whatever we want, don't we? So, it's time to go. Can you tell everyone Merry Christmas?
Merry Christmas.
Can you say have a Happy New Year?
Happy New Year.
Have a Happy New Year. Bye, everyone. And
Good day.
have a good day. And as my favorite ghost in the Muppets Christmas would say, come over and know us better, man. Don't laugh at me, Mrs. Beefy. Anyways, bye, everyone.
Welcome to another patented episode of Finbar's Festive Favourites. This year we're going to take a look at one of my favourite Christmas films, The Muppet Christmas Carol. Let's go! The Muppet Christmas Carol is a 1992 Christmas film directed by Brian Henson, the late Jim Henson's less talented son, although this film isn't bad and is actually one of my favourite Christmas movies. It's based on the novel of the same name, written back in biblical times by famed English author Charles Dickens, who is fittingly portrayed in this film by Gonzo, the Muppet with what can only be described as a dildo hanging from his face. The cast is led by a post, "You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off," and a pre, "I never wanted to have to bury another Batman," Michael Caine, portraying the miserly Ebenezer Scrooge McDuck. It also stars amico drama sphere power couple Tony TGD and Saggy Mellons as Bob and Emily Cratchit respectively. The story follows the miserable Ebenezer ruining Christmas for everybody by being your typical Englishman, making his staff work their fingers to the bone until Bob Cratchit musters up the guts to ask him for Christmas Day off. A feeling I'm all too familiar with since I joined the Geek Getaway. He also tells his nephew to do one when he asks him to have Christmas dinner with him and his family, tells a couple of charity workers to get a real job, and tries to decapitate Bean Bunny with a razor-sharp Christmas wreath. Scrooge McDuck is warned by the spirits of Statler and Waddoff to expect a visit from the Three Stooges of Christmas, and sure enough, just as he's about to get his fat Swede down for the night, he's given a fright by the ghost of Christmas past, a little girl who looks like she's run into a chalkboard a few times. She takes him on a blast to the past, where he's reminded of how much of a boring twat he was as a child, before being flashed forward to his meeting with the love of his life, a woman with teeth from the Big Book of British Smiles. However, all is not lost, as he's reminded of how he dodged the bullet by having the woman dump his ass, but this still seems to upset him for some reason. Scrooge is then ambushed by the ghost of Christmas Present, who shows him evidence of how much of a miserable twat he is, dances like a tit with him, and then takes him to the Cratchit's house, where he discovers Bob's son, Tiny Tim, played by sidekick Max, may not make it to the other side of winter, most likely due to Trump revoking his Obamacare. The ghost of Christmas Present then whisks Scrooge away to a graveyard, where he meets the ghost of Christmas yet to come, who reveals that Tiny Tim has unsurprisingly snuffed it, and that a headstone in the graveyard actually belongs to Scrooge himself. This shocks Scrooge into begging the ghost to spare his life, and he's transported back to the present, where he discovers it's Christmas Day. He bribes Bean Bunny, the same guy he tried to decapitate earlier, into buying a turkey and meeting him at the Cratchit's house for Christmas dinner. Being a new man, he offers Bob a huge pay rise, something I'm not familiar with since I joined the Geek Getaway. And they all have a rip-roaring Christmas together, while Tiny Tim looks forward to a future where he doesn't die of malnutrition. All in all, The Muppet Christmas Carol is a cracking, fun family time, and as such, I'll leave the final words to be delivered by Tiny Tim and smelly old Scrooge, since I'm way too miserable to say it as well as they can.
God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Hey, Tony TGD, Gary, Blinded Braille, who else we got? Finbar, Days Gaming, all you guys with the Geek Getaway crew. Want to wish you a very Merry Christmas. And I want to tell you, my favorite Christmas movie is none other than National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Recently, I went on a trip to Castle Noel in Medina, Ohio, and I got to see Uncle Eddie's RV in person, and I can tell you that the shitter was full. Thank you guys. Merry Christmas. Have a good one.
How's it going, everybody? Yes, we have made it to that time again. The Geek Getaway Christmas Extravaganza. I don't even know what he calls it. It doesn't matter. Anyways, yes. So decided to shoot in front of our Christmas tree this year. It's about a week before Christmas, so none of the presents are really out. These are just randos presents. I won't let my wife put out the kids' presents too early because she always wants to every year. And what ends up happening? The kids just freaking shake them, and they're counting up who's got who, trying to figure out what it is. And I think it's more of a surprise to just come down the stairs and boom, there's all your presents. I don't know, maybe you guys feel different. Maybe you like to have them sitting out early and all that crap, but I don't know, this is how we do it. This is our tree with all of the creepy, weird elves and shit that my wife has.
with the elf hat up here that's kind of leaning. I don't know, unique, definitely something, something a little bit different. But yes, so back to the Christmas extravaganza. What was the topic? Oh, favorite Christmas movie. Yes, favorite Christmas movie. Now I've been thinking about this, and I've got a couple, but I'm going to narrow it down to one. It was between Christmas Vacation, which I love that movie. I love Christmas Vacation. I think it's probably the best of the Vacation series, even though they're all really good. But, well, not so much the new one. Vegas Vacation is kind of trash. But, yeah, it's good, but everybody picks that. I feel like other people are going to pick that one. So I am going to go with the John Hughes classic, Home Alone. Yes, a John Hughes movie. You guys familiar with him? He did Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, all those cool 80s movies. So it's got that same kind of vibe to it, that same feel. But it's done more in a family setting, a little more than his other movies. And I think it really translated well. I remember going to see it as a kid when it came out. What was that, like 91, 92? I don't remember. I would have been like 11 or 12 when it came out. And I remember being really surprised by it. I was not expecting much from it. And it was just like such an awesome movie. Like the whole way through, the characters in it are great. Marv and Harry going after Kevin. And I remember it captures your imagination being like a kid stuck at home. And what would you do if people were trying to attack you with all using the toys and everything that he had to help defend the house. And the fact that it just takes place at Christmas. I mean, it's just a movie I'll never forget. And I consider it to be one of the tops out there of the classic movies. It's definitely my favorite. We try to watch it every year. Just kind of make it a bit of a tradition. But yeah, that's my pick, Home Alone. I'm interested to see what your other guys pick. What do you think? I'm not a fan. I tell you right now, I'm not a fan of the old shit black and white Christmas classic movies. Maybe one year, I'll suffer through them and watch them because I probably just should know what those movies are. But I don't know, man. It's just every time I'm watching it, it's so boring. So yes, that's why I like the more modern movies, and Home Alone is my choice. Anyways, y'all, I hope you have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, a Happy Hanukkah, anything that you celebrate. I hope it's happy and great, and you have an awesome time with your family and whatever you're doing, and may all your wishes come true. Take care, everybody.
Comes to our favorite Christmas movies. I mean, for me, how do you not go with Muppet Christmas Carol? Like, you think the holidays, you think wholesome, you think family, you think timeless. You think Muppets, you think wholesome, you think family, you think timeless. It's just, it's got, like, Christmas Carol always has a lot of heart behind it, but just something about the friggin' Muppets thrown in there just gives it that little bit more. Even though you're, looking at sock puppets and still feeling ultra bad for Tiny Tim. But Michael Caine as Scrooge is absolutely fantastic. All the performances are great, the music's great, and it's a hilarious movie to boot. It's basically got it all. So, yeah, Muppets is always the one I go back to.
I think that's a terrible choice, and I decided to go with Home Alone. Since I was a kid, that was a go-to. Actually, as a kid, I didn't even consider it as much of a Christmas movie versus a funny kids versus adult movie. And now my kids love it. It's something I watch all the time. And that theme, I don't care who you are, you hear that year round. It gets you right in the Christmas mood. It's all about family. And come on, it's Joe Pesci just at his best behind any of his, mobster roles.
Breakout star Daniel Stern.
I mean, Daniel Stern actually does steal the show. I will say that. So, yeah, Home Alone is my go-to, with a very close second with Gremlins. And yes, it's a Christmas movie. Don't you fight me on it.
I'm not. At least you didn't say goddamn Die Hard. So, Tony, thanks for having us on, man, and happy holidays, everybody.
Cheers, guys.
Hello, humans of Gabbing with Geeks. How are you? Oh, man, it's Christmas time. It's almost here. Well, let me tell you, Christmas time is always a special time for me. I try to get together with my family, and when we do get together, we watch, movies and what have you. And sometimes when I have some time alone, there's special movies that I like to watch, movies that make me reminisce. For the most part, I only watch old movies and old TV shows. And this is one that I go back to again and again, right? Because it happened in a very, very memorable time in my life. And the year, let me take you back, was 1983. What was Gen X doing back in those days? Well, let me show you. Gen X was playing a lot of Donkey Kong on his ColecoVision. Also, Saxon, and I told you how I got that game. And I was still playing some Pitfall 2. I mean, I was having a great time with video games, right? And we got to go out and see a movie. And it was Trading Places with these three fine young actors at the time. You know, they've changed a lot, right? Except for Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy looks better now. But let me tell you, back in the day, these were rising stars. Jamie Lee Curtis had already been in a couple of movies. And Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy had been on Saturday Night Live. So this movie had a lot of buzz in it when it came out. And when it came out, it delivered. It has everything that I love. It has beautiful movie. It's a beautiful movie with a beautiful actress. You have Dan Aykroyd that plays just a great straight man in this film. And it's a great mix with Eddie Murphy's comedy. I mean, this duo really, really works, let me tell you. And the supporting cast was great. There were some young actors in there too. The millionaires, played by the two older gentlemen, were incredible. John Landis directed this. And let me tell you, it really had a moral lesson in it, right? You had Dan Aykroyd that went from riches to rags, sort of like an Amico investor. And then you had Eddie Murphy that went from rags to riches, sort of like if you were working at Intellivision. It was all there back in the day. So it has all the elements that I love, guys. It has Christmas, partying, comedy, action. Let me tell you, you will not go wrong with this movie. This is Eddie Murphy at his best, Dan Aykroyd in one of his finer performances, and the movie's just amazing to watch. It really is something to enjoy during Christmas, and I hope that you do and you give it a chance. If you're, from a younger generation, let me tell you, get the digital version because it is a great time to be had, guys. Once again, let me wish you a very, very Merry Christmas and a happy, happy New Year. I want to wish everybody out there to be safe. And, let's hope that 2023 is a better year than 2022. And this year, for sure, 2023, let me tell you, I think it will be the year of the Amico. Guys, have blessed holidays. I'll see you around. Take care.
So that was some videos from friends of the channel. We thank them once again for contributing to the show. We appreciate them. And we look forward to having some of them show up as guests on the panel in the future. But for now, I think we need to transition to what we talk about most, what we really love, video games. And let's talk about what your favorite game of 2022 is. Now, it doesn't have to be a game that came out in 2022, just a game that you've played in 2022 that's your favorite game. Bob, what game have you enjoyed the most in 2022?
Tough question. Probably Destiny 2, because I've just got back into it. I really love the gameplay and a lot of the mechanics and all the modes and stuff, collecting guns and armor and doing different builds. And on the pure fact that I've put like over 130 hours into it in a couple of months, which is very unusual for me these days with modern games. Normally I play 30, 40 hours and I'm like, I'm done with this game. So it's got to be Destiny 2.
One of the worst games I've ever played, but apparently Bob loves it.
Well, you don't have any taste in games. You like trash games.
Finbar, what's been your gaming favorite for 2022?
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to concur with Tony here and say that Destiny did not bowl me over. But when I thought this was going to be the best game that I've played that was released in 2022, the only one I have played that was released in 2022 was Stray, and it sucked balls. So, but just by default, that would have been the best game I'd played in 2022 because it was the only one I had. But the other game that I'd played in 2022 that wasn't released this year was Spider-Man on the PS4, and I loved Spider-Man. It was an awesome game. I haven't yet. I've played it all the way through it and all the DLC, but I haven't yet went on to the Miles Morales one yet. So I'm looking forward to doing that in 2023. That'll probably be the only game I play in 2023, no doubt.
Did you play the original version or the remaster?
I played the original. Because the remaster, he has a new face model, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played the original one with the sort of strange-looking guy. Yeah, he's a bit strange-looking. The remodeled version of him looks more close to Tom Holland, I think.
Yeah.
But I played the original. I loved it. Thought it was fantastic. Nothing better than swinging through New York as Spider-Man.
Oh, it's a fun game. I love that game.
Yeah.
I actually that is one of the only games, and I'm not afraid to say this, but it's one of the only games where I actually cried. The scene at the hospital. If you haven't played it, I'm going to spoil it for you. But when he's talking to Aunt May in the hospital, tear to my eye. I don't know why.
I was actually glad to see the back of Aunt May.
Where are you down? I know. Did you find any problems with the Mary Jane portions of the game?
Yeah, I didn't like them. I'd rather they were just cutscenes rather than you having to take over us, or they annoyed me because the amount of times you would think the stealth stuff, it wasn't really executed well because you would get seen when you shouldn't have been seen, or you wouldn't get seen when you thought you should have. It wasn't exactly Metal Gear Solid levels of stealth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd rather they were just cutscenes. I didn't like. I liked being Spider-Man. I kind of liked the Miles Morales part, but that was more Mary Jane sneaking around. But I am looking forward to playing Miles Morales just to see what the difference is between the mechanics and stuff.
I can't believe that in a Spider-Man game where you're flying around, swinging around and stuff, they would put in a Mary Jane stealth part. That sounds awful.
Several. There was one good Mary Jane stealth section where she's actually got to tag the criminals, and then Spider-Man swings in and takes care of them.
Yeah, that was all right.
That was a pretty good section. I didn't like that they made her a reporter. That was kind of weird.
What? Yeah.
She's like a reporter in this version of Spider-Man. She's like basically Lois Lane, damsel in distress. Always, I'm gonna go and get the story, and ends up in trouble, and Spider-Man has to come save her all the time.
Well, it was all
they're broken.
Sorry, it was all a bit out of whack anyway because it was kind of like a fair few years into his career as Spider-Man, but he hadn't yet fought Dr. Octopus or.
Yeah.
There was a couple other ones that had just turned up for the first time as well. Dr. Octopus was one of his earliest enemies, but in this universe that we're in here, he's the guy he works with and becomes Dr. Octopus later. And I don't think Norman Osborn turned into the Green Goblin. I can't remember.
No,
but he hadn't at that point, so he hasn't even met Green Goblin yet either. So it's all about out of whack, the whole universe.
Yeah, it is a brand new take on Spider-Man. The core ideas are there, but they even hinted at the end. Again, spoiler alert, but they hinted at the end that Venom is going to show up and it's going to be Harry Osborn. So look forward to that. Spider-Man 2. What's that, Bob?
I don't even remember that hint that Harry Osborn was going to be Venom. But if you enjoyed Spider-Man, Finbar, you're going to love Miles Morales. I mean, the story's a little bit is quite a bit shorter. There's not as many bosses, but I feel the gameplay is expanded upon and is a lot more interesting, and it's just really super fun. I thought the story was tighter in Miles Morales as well. It was a lot more. This is the story we're going for, and it came across better to me.
Well, I really love the story of Spider-Man, so I got to play that Miles Morales too and see if Bob's take is accurate or.
My takes are always accurate.
Talking out his ass again. But to refresh your memory, Bob, at the very end, they basically tell you during the game that Harry Osborn is away, right? He's away, quote unquote. And you don't know where he's at. And eventually you find out that he's actually in a tube at Oscorp, and they show Norman Osborn talking to him, and then they show like a little black Venom thing inside the tube with him.
Yeah.
Dazed, what has been your favorite game of 2022? And remember, you can say one of those crappy retro games that I know you love.
Probably Pac-Man for the Atari. Love it. All that flickering, it just ruined Atari. Love it. No, seriously. If you had asked me earlier in the year, my answer probably would have been, well, it definitely would have been Halo Infinite, just because I played that so much. I mean, I was all the time playing it. I really just, I don't know. I remembered why I loved Halo so much, having left off playing Halo 2. But, and this could just be bias from the fact that it's more recent, but the new Modern Warfare 2 is so good. It's so good. Like it just the way that I'm not sure who actually developed this one. But the last Modern Warfare was very good too, and I honestly think that this one's even better. And I've been going through, and I've never done this before, really, in a game, a first-person shooter game. But I'm actually like going through and like trying to get all the guns golden, and you have to do all these like different challenges and stuff. And I'm just trying out all these different weapons, and by doing that, I feel like my skills have improved. My skill, well, a lot of my skills improved from playing Halo so much, because I'm just being out of gaming for so long, and I just.
What's your kill to death ratio?
I don't even know. I don't pay attention to stats. I just like each individual game. I probably should look at stats and stuff like that to track myself getting better, but I never, that was never something that was like something I paid attention to when I was gaming when I was younger, or because it really wasn't a thing. So it's not something that I think of to pay attention to, because people will ask me that, like, well, what level are you, or what's your kill death? I don't know. I just like playing the game.
The question is, are you competitive at least?
Yes,
That's all that matters.
I'm usually, a lot of the times I'm playing, I'm coming in first, and like that is like from where my I would say I got back into gaming a few years back. It was probably well, I really wouldn't even say it getting back into gaming. I just was playing games again for the first time in over a decade. My son-in-law he had an Xbox. I guess it was a 360. It was before the Xbox One came out. So yeah, it's probably been about. It would have been. I'm 44 now, so I probably would have started playing again about 34. And just here and there, like I'd come over to his house and they'd have like parties and stuff set up where they had multiple Xboxes and TVs, and my God, I was so bad. Like I was so bad, and it was so frustrating because I was so good at games. I remember being so good at like GoldenEye, because that was the last game that I really put a lot of effort into playing. I mean, I did play like Halo 1 and 2, but I was okay at it, but I wasn't great. And just from where I've come in the last, little bit, coming back and playing, like I feel so good about myself, because I felt like it was one of those things where I just felt like I was only could be good when I was young, and it really wasn't that. It was just a practice thing. Like I had to practice more, so like my self-esteem of playing games got feeling better because of this.
Mr. Hammock Man, would you say that you got your groove back?
Yes,
got his groove.
I got my groove back. I can actually like play and be competitive, and
that's good.
Not be like talk? Some. Nah, I don't really get into that. I try to get on the headset and listen, but honestly, like everybody talking just annoys the shit out of me, and I just end up muting them and just playing the game itself. Like mostly people are talking about nonsense, or they've got stuff happening. Like I haven't gotten into a lot of the Warzone yet, and I will once. I just kind of really wanted to get all these guns golden and really like practice before I really took on Warzone. But there is like proximity chat. Like when you kill somebody, they're talking shit, or you can talk shit to them. So I am going to partake in that.
You're going to tell them to get folded?
Yeah, exactly.
Got folded by the Hammock Man.
Yeah. So that's been, I don't know. I've enjoyed that game. I've had a lot of fun with it. And it's like, I don't know. Like I just don't have a lot of time for gaming. just with everything with job and family. And I know, a lot of people look down on first person shooters, but honestly, it's great for me because I can come in and play for about 45 minutes or an hour and just get my fill, but just a quick, dirty experience. I'm not, because if I'm trying to play a game, like I tried to play Breath of the Wild and I got into that for a little bit, but then I wasn't able to play for a while. Then I come back and I don't remember any of the mechanics. I don't remember how to do shit.
It's that old memory.
So it's like, yeah. So
it sounds like you need an Amico, something simplistic.
Maybe next year. Maybe next year.
My brain isn't that smooth.
What modes do you play on your Call of Duty?
Like I do
Team Deathmatch.
Pretty much all of them. I mean, I do like the what is the one? I can't even think. The different not capture the flag, but it's the three, like where you're trying to take like the three different flags, like you get A, B, and C.
Domination.
Yes, domination, and then the one where the you're always trying to capture one certain point and it's moving around. Like it'll be there for like. Yeah, kind of. I don't think they call it King of the Hill, but that's what it is. And then, just like they have like the one where you collect dog tags or Team Deathmatch. I like that too. But mostly, honestly, I'm just playing. I'm not even like sometimes if I really want to get into it, like if I'm not trying to work on getting a gun golden, then I'll actually play the games like where I am trying to like take care of the King of the Hill. But honestly, I'll just like run around and just kill people, just to try to get as most kills I can to try to get my next precious golden gun.
How many have you gotten so far?
About 8 or 9. I've been going through and working on all the assault rifles.
Sounds very casual and very boomer.
Ooh.
It is, and I'm not afraid to admit it. It's what I like. And it's that, or it's like if I'm retro gaming. But honestly, I want to try to make more time in 2023 for retro gaming because I feel like I've gotten to the point where I just do come home and switch my Xbox on and turn my brain off and start playing Halo or COD.
You're turning into a dude, bro.
Apparently.
All right, Ninja Kitty, what has been your favorite game of 2022?
I'd say my favorite game, I was hoping it would have been Halo Infinite, but that ended up being pretty bad, especially at launch. So it definitely wasn't that. I think the best game I played was the Guardians of the Galaxy game, because I thought the story was that's probably the best story I played in any game this year, and it was on Game Pass, so that made it even more enticing since it was free. But just overall story, the gameplay was pretty good, and the game ran really well on the Series X. I know it had issues on some of the other consoles, and it was a toss-up between that, and I also enjoyed Shredder's Revenge. I know if Gary is around, he would definitely say Shredder's Revenge. And when we played that multiplayer session that one time, I thought that was a lot of fun. That was my favorite multiplayer experience.
That was fun.
By far.
That was a lot of fun.
And I think it's a game that I actually want to go back and play again, Shredder's Revenge. So it's a toss-up between the two, but I'll still say Guardians of the Galaxy, just purely because the story was really, really good. And I haven't gotten to the Call of Duty, but maybe I'll graduate to full boomer mode and go into that.
Come on, I need someone to play with.
I'll play Warzone when you get around to that.
I'll if you want to play with me, I need to get some practice. I just don't want to go in there by myself with like random people.
Emmett, can
if
I play with you too?
Yes, I would love that.
Yeah, we all play together with each other.
Is it cross-platform?
Yes. Yes, Warzone's cross-platform with PC.
That'd be great. We get a 4-player going.
Yeah.
But that Guardians of the Galaxy game is really good. I enjoyed it when I played it last year. I didn't wait for it like Ninja Kitty to get it free. But did you go back and unlock all the different story paths, or did you just play it once and that was it?
I played it once because I have I have tons of games to catch up on, so I usually don't bother going through a game multiple times unless it's really, really different when you play through it.
Oh, it's pretty different when you play through it.
But you still fight the same bosses and stuff, though, right?
There's a couple of sections that are completely different. Like at the very beginning when you have to choose between Groot and Rocket Raccoon. It's
Yes.
a totally different section. One versus
Well, maybe I'll have to go back. Another good game, High on Life. It almost is as good as Guardians of the Galaxy. It was pretty funny. I recommend that people try that out too.
I'm definitely going to try that out soon because
But I think it's more so because I got it for free because of Game Pass.
Yeah.
If I had to pay for it, then also I think my opinion might have changed a little slightly. But
I'm
it's
not big
pretty
on
funny.
that humor, on that Justin Roiland stuff.
There's a lot of swearing, and it's not trying to be a boomer here, but it gets to a point where it's like cringy because they're just, I'm not sure if the word is like forcing it nonstop.
Yeah.
So it kind of some parts got old, but I don't want to spoil it. But the ending and some other parts were pretty funny.
You beat the game already? Was that quick?
I beat the game 20 hours.
That's perfect.
I didn't know we were saying multiple games. Otherwise, I would have mentioned a few others apart from Destiny 2.
Well, go ahead, Bob. I mean,
Go ahead, Bob.
Well, definitely Elden Ring. Like that has to be mentioned for me. That like I can't say. There's so much I'd say about it, but you guys know, so I won't bore you with that.
we know, Bob, but the audience might not know. So why don't you go ahead and bore
And
the
Gary
audience?
might not know.
True.
Yeah,
well,
sell it to Gary.
It's an open world Dark Souls game, which is just fantastic. It makes it really accessible. The world is incredible. The lore is deep. The multiplayer is fun and interesting. Just there's so much to do and so much to discover. It's like Breath of the Wild, but good. There's a lot of deep stuff, lots of different environments, lots of different bosses, lots of different areas. There's multiple different builds you can make. So you can play through the game as a mage, a warrior, whatever you want, really. So it's very customizable.
What do you play as, Bob?
I play as a mage. So a lot of people will cuss me out for being a bit of a wuss because that's kind of the easy way out because you've got range spells. But I kind of play as a battle mage, so I do use swords and stuff as well. So I kind of try to go half and half.
I tried playing that game as an archer. I did not fare well.
Yeah, archery is quite hard. But maybe you need to get better weapons and stuff and better stats before you can do that.
Yeah, I might eventually get back into it because I do have it. I did buy it full price, and I think I played about 8 hours of it, and I was like, it's not pulling me in.
Yeah.
But my favorite game of 2022, it might surprise you because I played 100 hours of Avengers this year. A little disgusted with myself, considering that game is so mid. But I am such a simp for the Marvel brand that I'll just sit there playing mid games for 100 hours. But that's not my favorite game. My favorite game of 2022 is Hades. And Bob, you actually turned me on to this game, so thank you, Bob. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You did a good thing. I love this game. I've cleared it at least 15 times already. I love that you could pick up, play it. It's like 15, 20 minutes, have a run, and you don't have to worry about it. It's not like you have to remember where you were or remember what you were doing. I enjoy the different mechanics, figuring out little things like, oh, if I add this boon and this boon together and I can get like a little combo going, or if I try this weapon using these mechanics. So it is fun. It's fun to play around, and then it's got all the different post-game little wrinkles you could add into the dungeon to make it harder. So I am definitely enjoying it. I'm running through trying to get all the little side stories all figured out because those are actually kind of interesting too. It is a little woke. Some of the characters are gay. Spoiler alert. And you can have a threesome with Hades, Sun, Thanatos, Meg, and the main character. It's kind of weird. And you can get there's that floating Medusa head that you can hook up with, which is also kind of
Oh, yeah.
She's cute AF.
And as the police are coming to arrest Bob, I'll just say that I am looking forward.
That was my house.
I'm looking forward to Hades 2. I'm so excited. I'm so glad. If I would have had to wait like everyone else who played Hades when it first came out and they're like, oh shit, Hades 2 is way off in the distance, I'd probably be pissed. But Hades 2 is going to come out next year. I'm so hyped. I'm excited. I'm ready for it. I was playing Hades 1 earlier today. Like, as soon as I come home, boom, I'll play like 2 or 3 rounds of Hades. I love that game that much.
So what type of game is it?
It is a dungeon crawler roguelike.
Oh.
Was it like a 2.5D?
Isometric, top down.
Yeah, it's like an isometric view.
6 different weapons you can choose from. You got to unlock things as you go, but I mean, you got a sword, a shield, the gloves, spear, bow and arrow, and then like the automatic crossbow or whatever they call that shit.
And
real
the
fun,
gun.
real fun. What'd you say, Bob?
And the gun, the grenade launcher.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the automatic crossbow thing.
Oh, it's a grenade launcher.
No, the grenade launcher is the special move. The regular attack is it just fires fucking like spikes. So I don't think it's a grenade launcher. And then if you get the bonus one, the Lucifer one, then it's like a fucking heat gun. Either way, awesome game. I highly recommend it. If you haven't played it, if you've put off playing Hades, I would recommend going out and getting it. With that said, those are the best games of the year. But what are the worst games? What is the absolute worst game that you've played this year? Bob.
Oh, God.
Besides Destiny 2, right? Because Destiny 2 is probably the worst of all time. But
Dude, Avengers is way worse than Destiny 2.
Does Destiny 2 have Avengers? Does it have the Hulk? Does it have Thor? Does it have Captain America in Destiny 2? I don't think so.
No, but it has fun gameplay, actually good DLC and expansion packs, which all have story.
Are you
and
saying
content,
that
it has
Wakanda is
good
a
season
worse
pass.
is a worse DLC than anything from Destiny 2?
Yes.
So you're racist, is what you're saying?
No.
But what? No, seriously. What is the worst game you've played this year, Bob?
Oh, that's hard to say. Because I don't usually play trash.
Well, I mean, you don't necessarily go out looking for trash, but sometimes you find trash on accident.
I'm trying to think because I know there's definitely a few which I played which were bad, but I'm just trying to think which games I played which were bad. Gosh, you might want to skip me while I think.
We'll get back to you. Finbar?
Yeah, easy. Stray. So the best new game I've played in 2022 is also the worst game I've played in 2022. Stray was so boring. The only reason I've played it is because I think it was free on PS Plus, and I gave it a go, and it was all. The colours were so horrible and garish. Kind of reminds me of the background that we currently have on this stream. It was an eyesore, horrible, boring game. Like a really terrible mechanics, I thought as well. I hated being a cat. Sorry, Ninja Kitty. But yeah, it was just terrible, boring game.
It won Best Indie and Best New Indie.
Yeah, I don't know. This goes to show you how corrupt these stupid awards are when that was getting on the list for one of the best.
And it was nominated for Game of the Year.
So bad that they couldn't even get you to buy it. They had to give it away free at the beginning of I think it was at the beginning of 2022 it came out. Terrible game. Highly unrecommended.
Oof. What about you, Hammock Man? What was your...
I don't think I have like a worst game. I will say that I don't really... As much as I enjoyed the multiplayer Halo, I did not like the story mode, the campaign. I was kind of disappointed in that because I remember playing through the first and second one and it just hooks you. It's so good. And the story is just so well done and the gameplay is so much fun. And I just remember this one's kind of it's sort of kind of open worldish a little bit. Like it's
open world.
I just could, yeah. But I guess you still have to kind of progress along somewhat of a path, right? I mean, that's kind of, I don't know. I only played probably a few hours of it.
Ooh,
but,
you're giving us a Gary take where you just either play a little bit of the game.
Well,
or
it was that
nothing at all?
bad. That's what the thing. That's the thing. I don't have time. I'm not going to put it in, and it just didn't. It didn't hook me.
Hammy, I can attest. So I played the whole game, and once you power up and unlock the tank and other things, it's just so easy just to spawn a tank and just attack from a mile away.
Well, yeah. Did you feel though? I'm sure you've played the campaigns of the other Halo. Did you feel like it was lacking? I mean, you said
the problem is the Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, 4 kind of sucks. 5 is good. They have scripted moments which are fun and like where they funnel you into certain areas so everyone experiences that same moment. The problem with Infinite is it's just the same issue if you ever play like games like Far Cry, where you could just because they have to make it so open that every mission starts to feel like the same. So you just there's nothing unique and special,
and you just cheese it.
You just cheese it, and even if you don't want to cheese it, it just bland because everything just blends in together. So it's just like, oh, go on the map to one certain point, kill the guy. Go to other part of the map, kill the guy. It just becomes the same. So there's nothing memorable in the campaign for Infinite. So it is a bad game.
And there's nothing you can't do like co-op, right? They still don't have it set up where you can do co-op.
They have it.
You could do co-op. There is.
They didn't for a while though. You couldn't.
Hold on. Co-op is not official, but there is a way to do co-op. And if you watch the channel, I was gonna say if you watch this channel, Hammock Man, we actually have a video explaining how to unlock the co-op in Halo Infinite. So,
oh well, I guess I missed that episode.
It wasn't an episode; it was a dedicated video.
Oh, well, I missed that video.
Like I'm not even gonna look at it because the game pisses him off.
Yeah, I concur.
But I love the multiplayer. I mean, I don't know, but I just was really disappointed with the. That's the thing. I'm like that. I don't care. Like if I'm doing like an official review, yes, I will give it a fair shake. But I just thought my time is valuable to me, and if I'm not having fun, I'm not going to play it. It's like I have thousands of games right now in my house that so many that I want to play and that I have time. It's like I would rather just go upstairs and pop in a freaking Atari game or something, or some
Custer's Revenge.
Yes.
Beat 'em and eat 'em.
Yeah, of course. Just anything. Like it's like at least I can just play something I'm having fun with.
Yeah, I agree with not having to go all the way through a game to know that it's trash. I think if you have to complete a game to give an objective opinion on whether it's trash or not, then you're just a sadist at the end of the day. You should know if it's trash and give up on it. And
I think
something else.
Like if I were going to do an official review, I would probably give it a fair 10 hours. Like I would at least
10 hours.
Is that not enough?
It depends on the game. It was just
well, yeah, it depends on the game. Like if it's like a simple little crap game, then a couple hours max. But if it's like a full story mode, like if I were going to if I actually were going to review Halo Infinite, then most likely I would play through it, or I would have played a lot longer. But just here talking about a bad game, yeah, I'm not going to spend much time.
All right, and Ninja Kitty, what was the worst game you played in 2022?
That was an easy one because I made the mistake of going on Amazon and seeing that a physical copy of Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX was on sale for I think $15. Regular like 40 or 50. So I bought it without looking into it, and I think it's a Master System game that they remastered.
Yeah,
the graphics are super nice. Really, if you look at the screenshots and the video, they did a really good job. The music is great, but the problem is they never changed the actual controls of the game or the gameplay, and it is the most broken platforming game ever. And I thought maybe it's just myself and my skills because I kept dying like nonstop. And just how your guy moves, and you struggle just to even jump on a block. So then I went online afterwards to look, and everyone said the game was trash because of the same stuff. I still, unlike Dazed, I gave it a fair shake and beat the game. But it was one of those games that is definitely the worst game. It reminded me to always look at reviews before blindly buying stuff. And that was definitely the shittiest game. And the second shittiest, because we're doing multiple games here, or not shittiest, I'd say the most overrated game. There's a game called Tunic that came out with a fox that looked like Zelda.
I heard about
Yes.
Or Link, I mean, not Zelda. And everyone was raving because they're going crazy. Like, oh, this is like Link. It's going to be like Link of the Past. And I played it, and the graphics were cute or nice or whatnot. And the game is deep, and there's lots. It's not a simple game, but it's very purposely. It makes it very mysterious and doesn't lead you to where to go next. And I got so far into one part, then I had to go online to see what I had to do, and it would have taken me like 3 hours going back to do other stuff to get back to the point where I was. Because I guess I somehow cheesed my way through it to like a certain area of the game. I just gave up on it, so I pulled a hammock man and said, "Fuck it, I'm not doing this."
Fuck it.
Fuck it. And yeah, that game was overrated. That's what I have for this year.
I remember liking Alex Kidd Miracle World on the Master System, but it's been a long, long time since I played that. I don't own that game.
game's trash.
I just remember that's the one where you can like be in different little. He has like a little vehicle that he goes around and shoots. I think like the different blocks and stuff.
Do you have a Nintendo Switch? I can sell you a copy.
How much did you say you paid, Ninja Kitty?
Not much. It's like it'd be $10 to $15 US for a physical copy. That's why I bought it, because it's just cheap, and now I know why they were selling it for so cheap.
The game is just trash.
Yeah.
It's a terrible game. It fools a lot of people. A lot of people, like, if you read the reviews, they say that it looks, but the gameplay's like crap.
Sega really tried to push Alex Kidd as their first mascot, but it just didn't work. Then Sonic eventually came and took over, but Alex Kidd, people kind of liked it, but yeah, it was never the system seller they wanted it to be.
So it was the same mechanics, just reskinned with updated graphics, yeah?
Yep.
That rock, paper, scissors shit was always bullshit.
Oh.
Yeah, that does. I remember that does kill the game. It's random.
Yeah, because you would go and you would have to collect so many coins in order to challenge, and then you would end up losing. It's like, oh fuck, I just wasted 20 minutes getting all the coins.
I will say, at least in the remaster, they have options in the options menu to. It's almost like cheating, so where you can win at the rock paper scissors, or it'll show what they're going to pick before you.
Well, that's fair. That's because it's really not cheating.
And they also give you unlimited continues, so that's how I beat the game, because otherwise.
Yeah.
Well, there's an item. There's an item you can buy that actually shows what they're thinking, so you could win at rock paper scissors. So I guess they just the cheat that they added in the updated version was just to make that item
free.
No, it just makes that item always on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was always one of the shittiest mechanics. Bob, have you figured out what shitty game you played in 2022?
Oh yeah, listening to everyone else, I can steal their ideas. So Halo Infinite campaign was trash. Tunic was trash. Stray was trash. But you know what was probably the worst game I played, but I still enjoyed, was probably Scorn. It's critically acclaimed, got hate. Like everyone hates that game for some reason. But I really like the art style. When there's so many walking simulators out there, it's kind of like, well, what's the problem? It's just another walking sim. But they did strip back a lot of the mechanics they advertised, and it was of a much smaller scope than we was expecting. The ending made no sense, and it's kind of like one of those games where if you enjoy reading into things and taking interpretation from stuff, it's a very artsy-fartsy kind of game like that, where
I hate that.
So if you want to read into it and read into that and you enjoy that, it can be fun and enjoyable. But not everyone likes that. So, yeah. So that's probably the worst game I played, which I liked. But, yeah, it's still bad. and it's such a bad game that my defense for it is it's not really a game. So, you know, if you assess it as a game, it's actually terrible.
Well, I've played some very, very shitty games this year. On purpose, actually. I played Life of Black Tiger, which is a horrible,
That's
horrible
bad.
fucking game. I played the Werewolf Apocalypse Earthblood. It's not as bad as they say it was, but it's pretty bad. It's mid. I played the Rambo game. Again, not as bad as people say, but there was a couple bugs and a lot of missing DLC. Not great. But the worst game that I played in 2022 had to be Cobra Kai 2 Dojo's Rising. I paid full price for this game. I was looking forward to it. The first game was okay, right? And I was like, okay, well the sequel's got to be better, right? You can't make a game worse. It can only get better in the sequel, right? It is a basic beat 'em up game. I was like, okay, I love beat 'em ups. I love Cobra Kai. They're adding new mechanics. It's like you go around recruiting different people from the show. Sounds great. Sounds fantastic. And then I played it, and it was fucking bugs. Characters were sliding, falling through the floor. Things were just not loading. Like you'd go to an area, and the buildings would be missing, and you could like see through walls, and it was ridiculous. At one point, I got trapped inside of a mountain. It is.
So it was a cash grab, basically.
Yeah, it is a broken mess. They're refusing refunds. Horrible game. Lots of people leaving comments on the video that I did, basically saying the same thing. Like, because I was like, well, I played it on PlayStation. Maybe you know other versions of the game are good. They're like, no, the Xbox, the Switch, they're all crap. It doesn't work on anything. It is broken mess. Even the online mode, the big, the karate tournament mode for online is a broken mess. Games stuttering, games freezing. Cash grab, total cash grab, and I fell for it. So that is probably the worst game I played in 2022. The second worst game was a game called Kaiju Wars. And this is another case where the game was actually pretty good. It's a fun little strategy simulation game where you play as the mayor of a town and you have to basically use the army to beat back different monsters. Right? You can't destroy them, but you could do enough damage to basically have them turn tail and run away. Right? And it's got different mechanics and different things you got to do, and the monsters act certain ways, and so your tank might cause it to slow down and take only a little damage, and your plane might take more damage, but it's not going to slow it down. So you got to figure out. It's like almost like a puzzle of how to stop these monsters. Pretty decent game until it froze at the main menu and would not fucking load the game. Contacted the devs. The devs could not figure out what was wrong with it. They were trying to blame me. They're like, maybe you did something. Like, yeah, I didn't do anything to your shitty game. So we're still trying to get that worked out. They did send me a Steam code. They're like, here's a Steam code as consolation. I'm like, that doesn't really help. I still haven't activated that. I got to do that. I did eventually just delete the entire save data, and that seems to have worked and cleared the error. I don't know if it's going to come back after I play and save the game again. So fingers crossed. But those were my two worst games of 2022. All right, gentlemen. Now, this has been a very productive Christmas episode. I think we've had a really nice discussion. I'm sure the fans have enjoyed this. You know, the little break from their families, the screaming children, the drunken uncles. Or if they've just been alone and they needed someone to keep them company for an hour or so, I'm glad it was us. But next year, we're going to have some big plans. And I think we should probably give the audience a little taste of what's to come. Now, Dazed, I know you had something to say on this.
Well, I just I know that for myself, I want to start making content and start putting up here. I feel like I don't know. I just think it would be, and we've talked about it. I think it would be fun for us to, if we all kind of like team up and start working on some things and trying to grow this channel and see where it goes. I mean, it's kind of exciting. I think, I might still do hammock videos on my channel, but I think as far as like the gaming stuff, or if I go to thrift stores or whatnot, I kind of want to lump my stuff in with what you guys are doing. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like we can. I feel like we can make something happen, and I think this year we need to give it a shot.
Oh, we're definitely going to make something happen. We're on the road to 10K. We'll have 10K subscribers next year. We'll be talking about it on next year's Christmas episode. We're definitely going to have a schedule, and we're going to stick to it. We're not just going to say things anymore. We're not just going to be like, well, we're going to do this and never follow through. We're actually going to follow through. We're going to make a schedule. We're going to have... so, like on Monday, you'll know that always on Monday you're going to get a certain type of video. On Tuesday, you'll get a certain type of video. You'll also get news videos sprinkled in. If there's a big news story or something, you'll get that sprinkled in with your regular content. We're going to be producing a lot more actual edited video content, real YouTube content, not just me fucking around with a microphone in bad audio and bad visuals. No, we're actually going to try to do something productive. So fingers crossed. On top of that, we're going to be doing all these streams. We'll still be doing the weekly Gabbing with Geeks. Drama Fridays are out. Gaming with Geeks is in on Friday. So if you want to come hang, we're going to try to get other people involved. That way you and the community can, join us. We'll play some fighting games. Maybe we'll play some co-op games. Maybe we'll play some Halo or some Call of Duty. Who knows?
I want to say something real quick. And like one thing that you had always, you'd said to me before, Tony, it's like you kind of envisioned Geek Getaway as kind of like a place for geeks and stuff to come. And that's what I think would be fun. Like, yeah, like a Friday night thing, like
Would you
people
say it's a
coming in.
place where geeks can get away?
Yes, exactly. So it's like for everybody to come and join us and play, and it'll be. I think it's going to be cool.
Place to hang out, have fun. So we're going to be doing that. I will be doing more streaming. I'm going to try to stream in the morning on Fridays if I'm still not scheduled for work Fridays. I'll try to do morning streams on Friday with games, and then Friday night will be the community / group gaming, and then during the week, maybe twice a week, I'll try to do like a 7 o'clock-ish game stream. Like I said, we're still working out the details. We're going to get everybody on the same page, and we'll let you know when we got everything settled. But look forward to big things coming in 2023. With that said, there's only one thing left to say. Love, peace, booty grease. We out this bitch.